Elon Musk has a vision for colonizing Mars, based on a big rocket, nuclear explosions, and an infrastructure to transport millions of people there. This was seen as highly ambitious, but technically challenging in several ways. Planetary protection rules and the difficulties of terraforming, making the planet hospitable by, for example, warming it up and dealing with the harsh radiation were quoted as severe obstacles. If everything goes according to plan, SpaceX will launch the largest rocket in human history, and if it succeeds, the Starship will enable a quantum leap in deep space and planetary science, as Musk predicted. But how well will it succeed? There are always more questions than answers for scientists, and there are always many more missions they want to fly than funds available to them. The abundance of water on the moon has only fueled scientists' urge to send robots out into the solar system to uncover and analyze ice deposits and underground seas, just as we're finding that the solar system has much more surprises than we may have thought. Our inability to fly out there and open them becomes increasingly aggravating, but consider this. What if some planetary scientists have begun to believe that SpaceX's new Starship rockets, with their unparalleled lift capabilities and possible paradigm-shifting low prices, may usher in a new age of exploration in the solar system? Imagine sending a lander to Europa, which is home of a massive warm subsurface ocean. It would be an incredible sight. Scientists considered deploying a complicated spacecraft costing billions of dollars to perform science on Europa during recent NASA planning sessions. Planetary scientist Jennifer Heldman said you could really take advantage of the Starship architecture and get to the outer solar system in ways we hadn't thought about before. Then she concluded that it could provide a revolutionary new way to get to the outer solar system with a Starship. By contrast, NASA might land a cache of scientific payloads the size of a single-story unfinished house. Starship is meant to be enormous and inexpensive to launch. In contrast, organizations like NASA and European Space Agency must pick and choose which missions to sponsor, with launch costs in the tens of millions of euros. The low cost of launching a Starship, as low as $2 million per launch, could open the door to a plethora of new exploration opportunities. Additionally, the Starship has a significant advantage over other super heavy lift rockets in development, such as NASA's much-delayed Space Launch System and Blue Origin's New Glenn rocket. The upper part of the rocket is meant to be refueled in Earth orbit by other starships, allowing it to devote more of its lifting capacity to scientific equipment, rather than the fuel. For example, sending humans to the moon would need 8 different launches, with each tanker starship delivering fuel to the lunar starship, which then travels to the moon with research equipment and crew. Scientists increasingly imagine what they may be able to accomplish with a spaceship. Earlier this year, a white paper titled Accelerating Martian and Lunar Science with SpaceX Starship Missions was published, featuring Heldman as the principal author. The primary difference of a Starship is its mass, which implies it could transport full-sized equipment from Earth without having to miniaturize everything to fit in a smaller vessel, as was necessary for the Apollo moon trips. In a nutshell, it's a game changer, since Starships can take off from other worlds as well as land on them. Furthermore, it might totally change the nature of a Martian sample return trip. Instead of bringing a few kilos of pebbles, as NASA envisioned, a Starship could return with metric tons. Brown University's president, who helped NASA choose Apollo landing locations in the 1960s and passionately trained the astronauts who landed there, signed the white paper and said he respects that SpaceX has a compelling mission and is working hard to achieve it. Head said he witnessed the type of adolescent enthusiasm and dedication that powered the Apollo program at SpaceX's headquarters in Hawthorne, California, and that the closest he got to being in the Apollo program was working on the SpaceX production floor. According to Tesla, a spaceship might also permit more expensive expeditions to other locales, either by launching directly from Earth or by using the Moon and Mars as refueling stations, an ambitious future envisioned by Musk. Heldman was the lead author of a white paper titled Accelerating Martian and Lunar Science with SpaceX Starship Missions, which was published earlier this year. The fundamental difference between a Starship and a spacecraft is its bulk, which means it could convey full-sized equipment from Earth without having to downsize it to fit in a smaller vessel, as was required for the Apollo moon missions. In a word, it's a game changer. Since Starships can both take off and land on other worlds, it might completely alter the character of a Martian sample return mission. Rather than delivering a few kilograms of pebbles, as NASA originally planned, a Starship could return with metric tons. A spacecraft called Arcanum, proposed by an international group of scientists called CONEX for conceptual exploration research, would use the Starship's heavy lifting capabilities to explore Neptune and its largest moon, Triton. Moreover, a large enough rocket, such as a Starship, may be used to prevent an asteroid from reaching Earth, according to physicist Philip Lubin of the University of California, Santa Barbara. Such a mission might carry enough explosives to break apart an asteroid the size of a 10-kilometer broad boulder that killed out the dinosaurs, and the shards would then burn up harmlessly in the atmosphere before reaching our planet. Currently, equipment like NASA and ESA's upcoming James Webb Space Telescope must be launched folded up, which is an expensive, complex, and delicate procedure that could be prone to error. However, NASA has suggested that a proposed super telescope called LUVOIR, designed to image Earth-like planets around other stars, could launch on the Starship, while Musk has stated that SpaceX is already working on an intriguing project involving a very large telescope that will take a lens designed for a ground-based telescope and use it to create a space-based telescope somewhere. Some scientists have fantasized about using a spacecraft to go to distant stars. According to Renee Heller of Germany's Max Planck Institute for Solar System Research and colleagues, Starship might provide a low-cost approach to test technology for a spaceship that can travel many light years to adjacent star systems. We could send a sail-powered spacecraft to Mars, which would use an onboard laser to push against a thin sail and reach incredible speeds, allowing us to conduct a demonstration beyond Earth's orbit. We would be able to track its acceleration and path through the solar system for a few days, almost to Jupiter's orbit. SpaceX might launch as many as a dozen Starship test flights in 2022, according to Musk, with missions to the Moon and Mars on the horizon, as well as lots of research potential, or as Musk puts it, anything you can dream. The possibility that there could currently be life on the red planet was raised as scientists reported the discovery of a saltwater lake beneath Mars' surface. The lake would be 1.5 kilometers below the South Polar Cap and at least 20 kilometers in diameter. This was found from analysis of the subsurface radar data from the Mars Express spacecraft. The water is thought to be briny, with the likely magnesium, calcium, and sodium perchlorate salts as an antifreeze down to temperatures of perhaps 200 K, negative 73.15 Celsius. Terraforming plans crushed. Perhaps even more damning, the long-suggested idea of terraforming Mars is now firmly locked in the realm of science fiction. Musk has previously indicated that he wants to terraform the planet to make it more Earth-like, so you can eventually walk around outside without anything on. This would most easily be done by producing an atmosphere made of heat-trapping greenhouse gases, locked in the planet's ice, in order to raise its temperature and pressure. Musk has suggested that we could drop thermonuclear bombs on the ice at its poles in order to heat it up to release the carbon dioxide. But according to a new study published in Nature Astronomy, Mars has lost so much of its potential greenhouse gases to space over billions of years that there is now no possibility of transforming the remaining atmosphere into a breathable one with available technology. The study is based on measurements of the recent escape rate of gases to space, measured over the last 15 years by Mars Express and the last 4 years by MAVEN. This can tell us how much effective greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide and water, are available on Mars. The measurements, combined with the knowledge of the inventories of carbon dioxide and water on Mars from recent space missions, show that greenhouse gases locked in the ice caps are not enough to provide the necessary heating. More may be available deep within the planet, but extracting that is well beyond today's technology. Also, the atmosphere is still being lost due to the lack of a magnetic field, so that would need to be somehow slowed to maintain any changes achieved by terraforming. This means that potential explorers would need to use heavy, airtight walls, roofs, or buildings to provide the right atmosphere and the required screening from cosmic radiation. While Musk may be disappointed by these new results, most Mars scientists are breathing a sigh of relief. There may be present or past life on Mars, and we can now focus on finding it. Scientists say that they would keep searching for signs of life, with the ESA Russian ExoMars 2020 rover, and the NASA Mars 2020 mission will gather samples for eventual return to Earthbound laboratories by around 2030. The results of all of this may tell the world if there was, is, or could be life elsewhere in our solar system. The best targets are Mars, Saturn's moon Enceladus, and Titan, and Jupiter's moon Europa, and these just hint of the potential for life on the many planets beyond our own solar system. The red planet is never far from our thoughts, whether as a potential cradle for life beyond Earth, or as a target for humans in the future, as we live in exciting times when it comes to space exploration. What do you think about the take on scientists on this matter? Let us know by leaving a comment in the section below. Thanks.